Next tonight, more than 1 million people have signed an online petition calling on Snapchat to reverse its redesign. The company changed how the app worked and swapped stories and messages from friends for content shared by celebrities and news outlets. The controversial redesign was aimed at making Snapchat more accessible and attractive to new users, but many have complained it's become more difficult to navigate. I'm joined now by our resident social media expert, Zoe Cairns. Zoe, lovely to see you once again. Firstly, what do you make of the update?
I think it is really confusing for people, you know, just using it myself and looking at the new update of where they separated the content from publishers and influencers and celebrities to your friends and other friends amongst it. It just makes it really complicated and difficult to navigate.
I mean, sometimes people just don't like change, but we've seen how many people have signed up to the petition, so really it's not really the case on this situation.
No, I feel like from the view that he's come from, OK, he's got to battle fake news as a social media platform, but however also think about your users and the majority of them as to whether they like the design or not.
And do you think that the new design, the layout, is particularly confusing?
It is definitely confusing. It's like it's muddling up our message directly from our friends to what our friends have put into stories. It's just not very easy to navigate at all.
Do you think sometimes on social media there's too much of fiddling around with it, just keep it to what it attracted people in the first place, really?
Yeah, we've got to be forever changing these platforms to make sure it caters for the users, but in terms of the way that this new change has happened, I can see we've got to bear with it, and obviously they're not going to reverse it. Hopefully the petition may be helped, but it's about really updating them to the end user at the end of the day.
And you briefly mentioned about the fake news. The CEO of Snapchat has said that this new the update is meant to try and filter out the fake news. Do you think it's been able to achieve that?
There'll be a lot of time in taking to do that. I mean, they're going to be looking at the updates on the headlines and the images used on the publishers and the media news on that right side of the screen. That's going to take a while to filter those, so it will be forthcoming, but it will eventually crack down on that.
One of the things that is still there is the location-based element of Snapchat, which some parents might be a little bit worried that you can see where people are. What do you make of that?
I agree with that. With the map, it's important to turn off the settings for the children, knowing where they exactly are on what street. And if parents haven't already done that, they need to check that they are in ghost mode to make sure that their children can't be seen exactly where they are.
And more than 150 million people use the app. Do you think that if they continue to update, it will alienate those people who've already got it?
I believe they do, because the likes of Facebook and now Instagram have now got stories from the articles I've read and from the people I've spoken to. They're all reverting over to those other platforms where it's so much easier to navigate. So they really do need to think about their users.
Well, so it'll be interesting to see if Snapchat revert back to type or keep it as it is. Thank you very much.
That's okay.